Final Fantasy VII Revelation has been announced and it is looking fantastic. Let's talk about it. Hello there everybody and welcome to The Comfy Spot. My name is Tyler and today we are going to be talking about the official announcement that we finally got yesterday at Summer Game Fest of Final Fantasy VII Revelation. This is officially the name of Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 3. We got this proper name now, so we no longer need to call it Part 3. And this was the final announcement at Summer Game Fest yesterday. And man, I gotta say, this game looks awesome. I mean, I don't think we expected anything less than that. It's not surprising that the game looks as good as it does, but boy oh boy, this trailer, the footage that we saw rather, it really impressed me. It had me really excited, got me super amped up for this game when it releases next year. We also got that confirmation as well that Final Fantasy VII Revelation will be releasing in spring of 2027. Of course, delays could happen, but I think that, you know, that date is pretty much hard locked in. I don't imagine it will be delayed. As far as I can remember, neither Remake nor Rebirth suffered a public delay after their announcement of a release date was announced. I know Rebirth, if I'm right, that never happened. Remake, I don't believe it happened either. Maybe it did. It's been 6 years at this point, so I cannot recall. But I really feel like spring 2027 is locked in. If I was to be a betting man, I would probably say that means we're going to be getting it maybe in April or May of 2027. I don't believe it'll be a March thing. If it is March, it'd be late March for sure. I also don't think it'll be coming in June, because if it's June, that puts it in most of June, yeah. But I don't think it'll be a June game. I feel like I just get the vibes of April or May for Final Fantasy VII Revelation, whenever it comes out next year. But all that aside, let's talk about the game itself here. The first trailer that we got, again, gave us some snippets of gameplay, some snippets of new features and mechanics, and it also gave us a better idea of what the story is going to be, or I don't know if I say a better idea, because for many of us who have played the game, we already know what this one's going to be covering, but it showed off some of the story elements that we could be expecting to be, you know, going through in Final Fantasy VII Revelation. I believe we got to see what appears to be the area around the northern crater, so that's exciting to see. We also saw Wutai as well. I'm very excited to go there. We saw the Madio Archipelago, so that'll be cool. And then we also saw other areas that we've already visited throughout the trilogy, such as Midgar, such as the Junon area, such as the area outside of Junon, the area outside of Calm. We saw that area as well. We saw all of this thanks to the airship. The airship is in the game, which we've all really pretty much known was going to be here, but we actually got to see the airship. It is here. That is how we'll be able to be getting around to many of the places in the world, as you know, as quickly and as easily as possible, really early on in the game too. This information has been confirmed in interviews that have come out since Summer Game Fest, since the announcement of Revelation. And the airship, it looks cool. You fly around, and then instead of, you know, like having just a weird disembark, you actually basically free fall your way out the airship. You jump off, you parachute on down, seamlessly parachute down to wherever it is you want to land, and then you land on the ground, and there you are in whatever part of the world you wanted to go to. It's very cool. I'm looking forward to that. Yes, you know, you might say, oh man, it's kind of like Fortnite or Battle Royale-esque, and you kind of don't feel too strong. You don't really like that idea of being reminded of that in here in Revelation, but I mean, it is what it is. I'm totally fine with it. It's pretty cool. Although I will say, it's really goofy in the footage where you see Cloud jump off the ship, and then the Buster Sword is just glued to his the back of his upper thighs. It's just like, yeah, sure, make it make sense. It is what it is. You know, you gotta make compromises where you do, and this is just a goofy one we're gonna make because the parachute's on his actual back, so the sword doesn't fit elsewhere. It is what it is. But that aside, that's cool that we get in the airship. That's how we're able to use it and get around in the world. Nice to see that it's actually the actual proper implementation of it, as opposed to just being like, all right, we know it's here, but how is that actually going to work? that is cool for sure. We also saw, in terms of other story stuff, we saw the weapons appearing as well, not just the weapons that we saw Tifa encounter and the party encounter largely in Rebirth, but we also saw the Ruby weapon. I believe we saw the Platinum weapon as well. We saw the Sapphire weapon approaching Junon. So the weapons, that's going to be very exciting to encounter when we are going through the story. And we're also going to be like fighting some of these lower key weapons, not just like the big boys. We're also going to be fighting the lower key ones. We saw like Tifa running headfirst into one. We saw Yuffie and the crew fighting, Yuffie and some other people actually fighting one of the weapons. So there'll be different mechanics involved with those fights, it seems like. Not sure how tough they're going to be. Hopefully they're not as, strenuous and annoying and tiresome as the Adamantoise fight in Final Fantasy 15. I don't think they will be, but that is still very cool. I'm looking forward to those encounters right there. One of the most exciting things that we got from this gameplay footage though was the proper first reveal of gameplay for Vincent Valentine and Cid Highwind. We've been looking forward to playing as them for a while, so it's cool to see the proper gameplay footage of them. And Vincent, of course, as you would expect, he's got his guns that, he's gonna just be a ranged fighter more or less with his guns, but you can also seamlessly transform to his Galleon beast form with the press of a button. I imagine somewhat similar. So like, how Cloud can just go into his slower paced stance. I forgot the name of the stance, but how he could go into operator mode, and how he just does that with the press of a button with triangle if you're playing on PlayStation. I imagine it'll be something similar to that for Vincent changing into his Galleon beast form. When he does, he's just a much stronger hulking type of beast. It'll be nice to have that on our side as opposed to having to fight against that like we did in Rebirth. So that'll be really cool. I'm looking forward to that. And Cid, of course, he has the range with his spear and all, with his lance, I guess rather. But he's also going to be good with aerial combat as well. I mean, he's a dragoon, so it makes sense. So the aerial combat that we saw him doing was very good. He was like very speedy and agile with it. So that'll be a lot of fun to play around with, especially since, again, Rebirth made it so that aerial combat was more of a viable thing for all party members, barring barring someone like Barrett, of course. So it'll be nice to be able to mix that in with Cloud's aerial combat, Tifa's aerial combat, and especially Yuffie's aerial combat, just because of how fast and agile she is as a character. We also got to see that, we got confirmation that basically the combat system that we had in Rebirth was more or less perfected there and refined, and Revelations isn't really doing too much to change it or build on top of it, seemingly, just from what we've seen so far. Like, we still have the synergy abilities and attacks, which I loved in Rebirth. That was awesome. So we see, that we saw Vincent and Cid doing some, and I think we saw Tifa and Cid doing some, Tifa and Barrett doing some. So I think there's going to be new synergy moves, not just the same ones that we had in the last game. And it's cool that I think that with Vincent, perhaps the synergy move you can do will probably vary based on whether or not he's in his Galleon beast form. Perhaps, I don't know, perhaps the synergy options change depending on the form that he's in. That'll be cool. Or maybe there's just like, there is just a specific one that he does that changes him into his Galleon beast form for all the characters that are in the game. Who knows? We gotta wait and see. But I'm happy that they're not making too many like major changes to the combat system, because again, I love the combat in Rebirth. I thought it was a fantastic step up, a fantastic evolution of what they had in Remake, and it was just so perfect and so much fun, and just made the combat so much more exciting and engaging than it was in Remake. Not to say that it was bad in Remake, but Rebirth's combat system was just perfection. Now, they are introducing one new system so far, from what we know of, to the combat in Revelations, and that's this fit system, which is essentially a job system, where you can change your characters' costumes, their outfit changes entirely. Everyone will have 4 different fits, and each fit gives them a new look, and it basically gives them a job, more or less. So there's like we saw warrior for Cloud, we saw black mage for Tifa, and I don't think this is a bad system. I'm intrigued by this system, I will say, because the way that the Final Fantasy VII is by design with its battle system and all, and its materia system, is that you can kind of tailor any and all the characters to the playstyle of job you want them to fill. Now, of course, by default, some characters lean more towards one role than the others, but with the materia system, you can make someone more of a role than others. So if you wanted, Tifa to just by nature be more of a black mage monk hybrid, you could just you could give her plenty of materia that would boost those stats and boost those abilities and boost that affinity, I guess. Put her more in that direction. If you wanted Barrett, like I do, what I typically play, I make Barrett, he's of course my tank, but I also give him a few black mage abilities, but I also give him plenty of healing abilities. Since he's going to be more of a ranged fighter, I want him to be able to do damage from the distance and build up his ATB from a distance. That way he can heal people and keep them alive from a distance. So I kind of have him be like a sentinel, or like a sentinel type of white mage hybrid of sorts when I play. Now with this job system, the way I interpret it is that it is going to further incentivize that type of mentality. It's going to just further incentivize what the materia system already does, where again, the materia system allows you to kind of point people in a direction that you want them to go in, and this new fit job system will really further enhance that. So if you want, if you want Cloud, for example, to, you want him to stay a warrior, or you just want to strengthen and enhance those warrior attributes, you give him the warrior class, the warrior job rather, and it'll boost those attributes in addition to whatever you normally do for him. If you are someone who wants Tifa to be more of a black mage type of hybrid character, give her this black mage fit job system, and that'll just further enhance what you want to do with her. Or maybe it'll be a thing where it could allow you to go in 3 different directions, where okay, by nature with the materia that you give your character, you kind of have them go in one direction, but you also want them to be able to do things from another job, from another class. So say, for example, I'm just spitballing here. Let's say Yuffie, for example, she is a ninja, all right, so she kind of has some black mage type elements there with some of her ninja moves, and she's also fast and strong, so you don't necessarily need to put her or want to put her more in that direction with some of her materia, but you do want her to be able to be more of, let's say, a healer by chance. If there's a white mage job or white mage fit, you throw that on her, that way she could do those things, and you don't have to sacrifice materia elements or materia pieces for those white mage moves. Because I mean, who knows, maybe I don't know, I don't think it's been made very clear if you by putting these fit jobs on your characters, if it just automatically gives them abilities from that job, or if it just enhances the stats related to that job. If it is the former, where it, where it by default gives you some abilities from that job, so you don't use the materia to give it to you, then that'll be cool. If it's just a thing that enhances the stats related to that job, still fine, but it does beg the question of the usefulness of it, or how important it is. I don't know. The fit system, we need to learn more about it, see how it works in practice, not just on paper, because I feel like it's one of those things where it could be either a cool addition that enhances the experience, or it could be an addition that just kind of feels like we just threw this in there just because we wanted to add something new, but we didn't necessarily know what new thing that we could add that would actually meaningfully improve or better the gameplay combat experience. We gotta wait and see. I mean, it could also be a thing where it's like, hey, we want to try and justify costumes and giving different alternate outfits for the party in this last entry, so hey, this is how we'll do it. And if that's the case, that's the case. But I mean, you could have just given us alternate costumes without throwing on a whole new gameplay system on top of it that was kind of not needed to be there. Although I will say, seeing the fit system made me think to myself, we are probably all but certainly, and I hope we are, at the very least, I hope that we are going to get the Advent children costumes for the party in this game, be that through the fit system, be that through just an unlockable in some way, shape, or form. That would be dope to officially get it in the game. That way you don't have to play on PC with mods to get those outfits. I would also love if we got Cloud's fusion sword from Advent Children in the game in Revelation as some sort of unlockable. That'd be cool. Again, this is the final game in the trilogy. Just throw everything at the wall, you know, make the fans happy, put all the stuff in there. That'd be dope to see. I know everyone would love to see that stuff. But either way, this is just my thoughts real quickly on Final Fantasy VII Revelation. I am very excited to play this game next year. Very excited to see more about it in the coming months. I'm sure, you know, the marketing blitz, this is just the start of it, and it will kick off in earnest, I'm sure, we'll probably get some more info around Tokyo Game Show in September. Maybe there'll be something there at Gamescom and at the end of August as well. Who knows? I'm sure it'll pop up in a state of play or two, maybe. Who knows? Game Awards, it'll definitely be there, all but certainly. So I think once we hit like September, October, then the media, the marketing will really start to kick into gear, where we'll start getting regular updates every month or so. And hey guys, it's a good time. It's a good time if you are a Final Fantasy fan. It's a good time for you if you're a Final Fantasy VII fan, specifically the remake trilogy fan. This is an awesome time for you. And if this game is at New York Comic Con next year, I will try my damnedest to play it, because that will be a lot of fun to experience. So all that said, let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below on what you thought of the Final Fantasy VII Revelation announcement. Are you into it? Were you excited by it? Were you hoping for more? Were you a bit disappointed? Let me know down below. And also, I forgot another important thing. The game is also releasing on all platforms simultaneously in spring 2027. No exclusivity happening here. PS5, Switch 2, Xbox, PC on Steam and Epic Game Store all at once at the same time. It's very exciting. We all knew this was going to happen, but it's still cool to see that hard official confirmation as well. No one's being left behind when this releases in spring 2027 next year. Super excited about that. But again, leave a like on this video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already. And hit the notification bell. That way you know as soon as the videos go live. My name is Tyler. This has been The Comfy Spot. We'll talk next time. Have a good one.